Hey everybody, welcome back. I have a critique of an Instagrammer. I don't think I've ever done this before, but I saw this in my feed the other day and I had to comment on it. This is from a dietitian. I'm not going to reveal the whole name. I'll just call her Rachel, and I follow her on Instagram. So here's what happened here. She went to a lake and she saw some people not wearing a mask. Okay, now the whole mask debate, I'm not even gonna start that debate. Should you wear a mask or should you not? Everybody's talking about that right now because we're going through this pandemic. Everybody's like, oh, you should wear a mask. No, you shouldn't have to wear a mask. Okay, that's not the point of this video. My point is, how do you persuade people to wear a mask? And also, it's also, I want to comment on just decency. Okay, so here she is. She is taking a picture of herself wearing her mask. Very good. And she's also giving us the finger. Okay, so first of all, that's not an appropriate thing for Instagram. Okay, Instagram is supposed to be clean, G-rated, PG-rated. Okay, the occasional bikini pic. All right, so maybe PG-13. Otherwise, it's supposed to be pretty clean. If you want to be crude, crass, you really want to speak your mind, go to Twitter. Okay, these social media platforms are trying to keep it clean. So I'm really surprised she was able to get away with this. So that's kind of the background story here. So she's a dietitian, went to the lake and saw people not wearing a mask. And so she literally gave them the finger. So she's not only giving us the finger, she's giving these two guys a finger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read her post here. Here we go. Yesterday, I ran 5 miles with the mask on. First of all, that is really uncomfortable. I've tried moderate cardio with a mask on and it sucks. But good for you for doing that. And pardon my French, but here's my message to people who cannot be bothered to put on masks to go to the grocery store. And if my other hand wasn't holding a phone, I'd be giving another middle finger to people who are spreading misinformation about masks. Okay, so not only does she want to give one middle finger, she wants to give 2 middle fingers. Wow. And not only that, this isn't in a grocery store. So the thing is, like, in the last few days, I've been on a plane, I've been in a gym, I've been in a grocery store, I've been outside taking a walk, I've been in a hotel, and I've been in my mother's home. Okay, each one of those places has a different risk tolerance. So when I'm in my mom's home, I have to be conscious about not coughing or sneezing. When I'm in my own home, I can do whatever I want because I don't care. Okay, nobody around me is going to get sick. If I'm in a plane, I have to wear a mask. Even without a mandate, I think I would still wear a mask because you're in a closed fuselage with recycled air. I mean, if you're going to get it, that's where you're going to get it, right? At the gym, I wear it when I do weights because I'm not breathing that hard, but when I do cardio, I take it off. And when I'm entering and leaving the gym, I keep it on. Okay, that's just my own risk tolerance. And the problem here is that Rachel doesn't understand that people have a different risk tolerance. She believes that everybody should have her own risk tolerance. So if you're outside getting some fresh air at a park, then that means you are evil and you just aren't. Okay, so let's continue. But seriously, this pandemic is tough. Yes, it is. We are all being forced to make difficult decisions, especially in the absence of rapid COVID testing, adequate government financial support, or clear guidelines. True. Again, we are all being forced to make difficult decisions. Nobody has, in the last 4 or 5 months, nobody has made that decision. I mean, nobody has not made that decision. Everybody has decided whether it is worth the risk. For example, I went to a 4th of July party. Everybody there was between 25 and 40. There was like a couple of little kids. Was that high risk? Probably not. Okay. But that was my call. But when I'm with older people, I wear a mask, I keep my distance, I don't cough, I don't sneeze. I'm really conscious about it. When I go to the grocery store, I wear a mask. We're all making this trade-off all the time. There is no one risk tolerance. I think that's the big takeaway here. There are so many tough decisions, especially when I think of friends and clients who have a job and children, people who have lost their job, and those who work on the front line. But you know what else? You know what isn't a hard decision? Wearing an effing mask. So now she's swearing, or at least pretending to swear. I don't know why she just didn't use the real word. She's already giving us the finger. Why not go all the way? Anyway, it's a little bit of fabric, and as uncomfortable and as annoying as it is, it can literally save someone else's life. Well, that was true before this, wasn't it? We always have a flu season. We have other viruses floating around. We have different bacteria. Pathogens aren't new. Pathogens were here before March of this year. We had it before. And if it's just a little piece of fabric, how much protection do you think that's providing? Okay. Now, I respect her decision to go to the park. By the way, the park that she's at is literally a few miles from where I grew up. That's what's kind of ironic about it. I hope I don't run into her when I visit this summer. But my point is, she wants to wear a mask outside at the park. Okay, fine. That is her decision. But she should also respect other people's decision not to wear a mask outside at the park. Okay? But Rachel doesn't want to do that. She wants everybody else to follow her standards. She wants everybody else to wear a mask at the park. And I'm going to show you where the hypocrisy comes down below. If I've gained anything from living through this crazy time in history, it's the importance of we versus me. Yes, personal health behaviors make a difference, and our collective community health matters so much more. Well, again, that was true before all this started, right? Whenever you went out to a bar, restaurant, movie theater, whatever, there was always a chance that you could pick something up and potentially spread it to other people. That's true before, and that's true now, and that's true after. So I don't know what the difference is. Just because we have this new virus on the market, that everything has changed, that's not what I'm getting. Wearing a mask is a simple act of caring and respect to others. For better or worse, we're all in this together. Don't be the wink, wink, wear a mask. ETA, this post isn't about whether or not you should wear a mask while exercising. Well, it kind of is. I could not distance on the trail I ran, hence a mask. Okay. So that is Rachel's post. She is flicking us off. She almost used a 4-letter word in her post. She is mad because other people aren't at the park because she's mad because other people at the park are not wearing a mask. So let's do a little talk about persuasion here. If you want to convince somebody to take a specific action, do you give them the finger? If you had a friend who was not wearing a mask, would you give him or her the finger? Is that a good way of persuading somebody to do anything? The answer is no. She could have approached these two men and said, hey, we're in this crazy history, and you guys mind wearing a mask just for the sake of others? She probably would have gotten better results. They might have put on a mask if they had had a mask. I think people want to cooperate and do the right thing, but it's hard to blame a couple of guys. She said it was a couple of dudes that she gave the finger to. It's kind of hard to blame people who have been in quarantine for several months for going outside, just getting fresh air and some sunshine. I mean, that's all they wanted to do. They went to a lake. How many people are at this lake? Probably not too many. Maybe it was really crowded. Okay, I don't know, but they've been stuck inside. They want to get some fresh air. They want to get some sunshine. They want to be out in nature. I mean, all these things that we're told are really beneficial for us, and they are, by the way. And they wanted some social time. So I can understand why they didn't want to wear a mask. So if she wanted them to wear a mask, the last thing she should have done is to give them the finger. This is poor understanding of persuasion and human nature. Okay, so here's one of the comments. I agree that people should wear a mask whenever possible, but some conditions that make it difficult and sometimes dangerous can't be seen. I have an anxiety disorder, and after wearing a mask for about 15 minutes, I start to get panicky and need a break. I've experienced panic attacks before. I'm doing the best I can, but it would be easy for others to judge me when I can't keep it on during my entire shopping trip. So here's my question. How did she know that these two other dudes didn't have anxiety? Maybe they had some reason for not wearing it. I mean, this could have been this commenter that's writing this. She could have been that person on the trail not wearing a mask. Maybe she wasn't wearing it because she starts to panic when she has something covering her face. She continues, I think it would be more helpful to assume that everyone is doing the best that they can, and not that anyone without a mask on is inconsiderate or doesn't care. Okay, here's another commenter. I flipped two guys off for walking side by side and not giving us all the space when they had plenty of room to move over. You're exactly right. We can't keep thinking just of our own needs right now. And Rachel responds, I fully approve of flipping rude dudes off. Okay, that says a lot about you, Rachel, that you would give people the finger for not putting something on, for not subscribing to your own personal safety standard. Here's what bothers me about people like Rachel, is that they assume that they have total knowledge. They know for sure that masks work. There's just a certain level of arrogance to it. The science on infections and pandemics seems to be evolving by the day. Okay, everything we know right now could be wrong in 6 months. Show a little bit of humility and understand that what you think is true right now might be proven wrong in just a few months. Keep that in mind. Okay, here's another comment. I think this one is kind of funny. You're committed to that trail. I would have found a new one where I didn't have to wear a mask to run. LOL. That's why I've been sticking to walking around the neighborhood instead of going to the River Rock. I don't know where that is, because everyone else is there too. Rachel responds, LOL, I definitely was. It's where I used to run in high school and hadn't been there in years, and my parents' neighborhood is super hilly. Okay, here is where the hypocrisy comes in. She responds to a comment that says, not exercising with a mask on, sorry. Rachel says, that's fine. It seems to be safe if you're able to practice distancing. I was not yesterday. I don't wear a mask when I run in my neighborhood. So here's the hypocrisy here. She had other options. She could have worked out at home. She could have worked out in her neighborhood. She could have worked out in her parents' neighborhood, but that was too hilly. She could have worked out in her parents' neighborhood, but she said that was too hilly. Then she said, I don't wear a mask when I run in my neighborhood. So why don't you run in your neighborhood? Why do you have to go to this lake where you know there's going to be a lot of people? So she kind of blows her cover here, because this is what she did. She knew very well what she was doing. She could have worked out at home. She could have worked out in her neighborhood. She could have worked out in her parents' neighborhood. Now, maybe those two neighborhoods are the same thing. I don't know. Okay, I don't know her personal life. But she had other options, and she chose the option where there was going to be the most people. Now, she wore a mask. Good for her. But the safer thing would have been to stay in a less populated area without a mask. So she chose a riskier option, and now she's giving the finger to people who are not meeting her own standard. I hope I'm making myself clear here, that wearing a mask in a populated area is riskier than going to an isolated area without a mask, where you're not going to encounter anybody. But she knew she was going to go down there and find people who weren't wearing a mask, so that she could give them the finger and then hold her phone and take a picture of herself giving the finger. So let's go to the next comment here. I fully support mask wearing, but if you were not near anyone and outside, you probably could have taken it off, which is true. Rachel says, I was near people. It's a crowded trail and I moved it down when no one was around. Okay, but why didn't you just go to an area where nobody was around? Your neighborhood is safe. You say you don't wear it in your neighborhood, so just go to your neighborhood, okay? Or if you're not in your own neighborhood, find an isolated place. Why did you have to go to a crowded area and wear a mask? Oh, but we know, because you wanted to put this on Instagram. Okay, so those are the end of the comments there. I find this unprofessional, uncivil, crass. There's nothing good about this. And you know what the worst part is? It didn't change anybody's behavior. If I weren't wearing a mask and somebody gave me the finger like this, I would be 10 times less likely to wear one. Okay, it's reverse psychology. If you're going to act like this, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. There is a gentle way of convincing somebody to take action. Okay, you can nudge people, you can give people the hint. You can do it tactfully, is what I'm saying. This is not tactful. This is rude. This is being a bad neighbor. Okay, so Rachel, if you want people to wear masks, drop the finger. Okay, and please do not put it on Instagram. This is not Instagram worthy. I know you got a lot of points for this. Looks like you got 1,400 likes, about 1,400 likes down there. Good for you. I'm not sure why people like this, because it's not going to help. And you're right, Rachel. We're all in this together. And you know what's not going to help? Giving people the finger for not wearing a mask. We're going to get through this together by being responsible citizens. Okay, by not taking unnecessary risks, by protecting the most vulnerable, by not coughing and sneezing in public, by avoiding large crowds if you don't need to be there. That's how we're going to get through this. Giving people the finger is not going to help. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to make more of these in the future. There is a lot of fodder on Instagram for my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my free resources below. You can find a link to my empowered eating system. You can join the waitlist now. You can also speak to me directly. There is also a link below. If you find another post or an article that you want me to comment on, please send that to me. My email is also in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.